Shabbat Shalom! Rabbi Rachel Zerin here with a thought for Shabbat. In this week's parasha, we are introduced to one of my favorite characters in all of Jewish literature. Her name is Serach bat Asher, and if you've never heard of her before, you're not alone. She's mentioned only twice in the entire Torah, both times in passing. First in this week's parasha, as Jacob moves himself and his entire family to Egypt to reunite with Joseph, we find a list of his children and grandchildren, and Serach is included in that genealogy. Jumping ahead to the book of Numbers, following the exodus from Egypt, we find Serach again included in a census of the Israelites as they wander in the desert, headed back to the promised land. In both places, Serach stands out as one of the few women mentioned in these lists, the only granddaughter of Jacob to be mentioned. And of course, the main question surrounding her is, how possibly could the same person be among those who moved with Jacob down to Egypt, and then be among those hundreds of years later who was with the Israelites as they left slavery in Egypt and headed back to the promised land? The rabbis ask this question and wonder what possibly could be the backstory of a woman who was with Jacob, headed to Egypt, and with the Israelites as they left Egypt later. They answer this question by way of a midrash in the book Sefer Hayashar, a midrash that finds its origin in our very parasha. In our parasha, after Joseph's brothers reunite with Joseph, they head back to their father Jacob. And as they are heading back, they start to wonder how they will tell him that Joseph is still alive. Enter the midrash. The brothers wonder, what shall we do in bringing this matter before our father? For if we come and tell him all about it, he will be so astounded at our words that he will refuse to listen to us. Or worse yet, his spirit will depart. As they walk on their path, Asher's daughter, Serach, Jacob's granddaughter, Joseph's niece, comes to meet them. The Midrash tells us that she is exceedingly beautiful, wise, and a skilled player on the harp. And so the brothers devise a plan. They ask her, "Go, please, before our father. Sit down in front of Jacob and play your harp and sing to him the message that we give you." Serach agrees. She goes, she plays her harp, and she sweetly relays her message. "Joseph, my uncle, is alive. He reigns over all the land of Egypt. He is not dead, as you once believed." She continues to sing and repeat these words, and as Jacob hears them, they stir his soul. He hears them a second time and a third time, and joy comes over his heart because of this sweet message. Jacob knows that her words are true, and because of her message and the way she delivered it, Jacob blessed Serach for conveying this message before him. And according to the Midrash, he says to her, "My daughter, may death never prevail against you throughout eternity, for you have restored life to my soul." Because of the way that Serach broke the news of Joseph's life to Jacob, Serach herself was granted eternal life. And because of this, in the rabbinic imagination, Serach shows up at key moments throughout the Jewish story, moments that perhaps we'll return to in future videos. This midrash holds an important lesson for us as well. That what we say is important, but the way we say it is equally as important. Joseph's brothers knew that if they broke the news to Jacob too abruptly, Jacob might not believe them, or worse yet, it might cause Jacob too much distress. Serach knew just the right way to tell Jacob the truth, so that Jacob would be able to accept the news, and so that he would be able to reunite with his son. So on this Shabbat Vayigash, when we meet Serach bat Asher, the wise, beautiful, excellent harpist who was able to break the news to Jacob in such a gentle way, may we all learn to hear stories and to tell them in ways that can be heard and embraced. Shabbat Shalom.